This is the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax. Good Friday morning to you, Grant. How you doing today, bud?
Don't worry about it.
You know what, Grant? You know what? I love you so much that I had to mute you right away this morning. So, good morning, Grant. Hi.
Good
how are
morning.
you?
How's
it going?
I don't think I can hear myself, but that's fine.
It's all
I'm just
good.
gonna go with
I'm
it.
going to take a quick sip of coffee, and we're going to try
good
this one
thing,
more time.
I said the wrong name, too, so that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Hi, I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Oh, Grant. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
It must be Friday because we started off by muting you. You said the wrong name. I don't even know where we are anymore. Good Lord.
Yeah, I said Steve Eichel for the Buffalo Sabres, the number 2 overall draft pick.
Oh, yeah.
It is not Steve. His name is Jack. I apologize.
Steve, Jack, Danny, Sam. I don't know.
I know
we'll
it's
start
Eichel.
throwing out random cross-country runners that we know.
But I was just watching a video of his first NHL goal, and oh my gosh.
Was it beautiful?
Oh, beautiful.
It was a thing of beauty.
It was a thing of beauty. They lost the game, however, but still. That was it was a great goal.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's how I'm doing this morning.
Well,
that was
glad.
great. Hockey is just absolutely fantastic right now. I'm loving it. I'm giddy with excitement. I'm right about the Texans. I said start Hoyer. If you want to complain to me about the last interception, I'll fight you. Not 100% his fault. Mostly his fault.
Mostly his fault.
But still not 100%, and it was one mistake out of his over 300-plus yard game. So I was right. I told you. Houston, I told you. You could have listened to me, but no, you had to suffer for the first 4 games of the season. Your fault. You deserve it.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do, I guess? Anyway.
Start Ryan Hoyer.
That would probably be the ideal situation. Yes.
Then Ryan Mallett.
Oh, what a guy. He's got a name like Mallet, though. Anyway, good morning,
smack him
everybody.
up
We're
against
glad
the
to have you
marimba.
a part of the show. You remember you can get us right here Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central, live on Spreaker.com and on Periscope as well. If we have any time during the Periscope broadcast, do you have any thoughts or questions about what we're doing, feel free to comment. We'd love to hear from you. You can also get us on Sports Radio America, sportsradioamerica.com, live 365, and tune in from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Time. And then you can get us on demand on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and on Spreaker.com.
You can also find us on Facebook at the Bax and Grant Sports Show and on Twitter and Instagram at BG Sports Show. Over on Twitter, Baxter is at Baxter Colburn, and I am at Grant's Rant, BGSS.
All right, Grant. Well, to get the show kicking off today, we wanted to start with a game that will be taking place in California on Saturday night. Woo-hoo! It is the USA versus Mexico game. It'll be the CONCACAF Cup, as they are calling it. The winner of the game will advance to the Confederations Cup taking place in Russia in 2017. The game is scheduled for Saturday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. So in order to talk a little bit of soccer, we decided to bring in Corey Plath for the show today. So, Corey, good morning to you. How are you today?
Good morning, guys. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing fairly well. You sound a little tired, Corey. Were you, up late broadcasting a high school football game last night or something?
That possibly could have been.
And how did that go for you?
After the second quarter, it went much better.
Oh, that's good. I'm so glad. Yeah, we had quite the interesting time last night.
Yeah, we did. Unfortunate, but the show must go on.
Absolutely. Well, Corey, we're glad to have you on the show this morning. We're talking about USA-Mexico, and going into this game, there's obviously a bitter rivalry for those that follow the series. USA-Mexico is dated back for many, many years, and we wanted to take a look at a few different possibilities of how this game is going to go.
So, Baxter, I just as a very, very mild from the outside looking in, soccer/football spectator, am I right in saying that the men's national team, the U.S. men's national team, has had more recent success against Mexico than, going further back? Because I remember, a couple years ago that the USA went into Mexico, I think it was a friendly, and beat them for the first time on their soil for, the first time ever in history, and they've been having some success.
They have, yes. Yep. Corey, correct me if I'm wrong, but the U.S. under Jurgen Klinsmann has never lost to Mexico. He has 3 wins and 3 draws to the Mexican team since Klinsmann took over. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. There hasn't been any any need for real concern. I mean, besides those 3 draws, any other wins have been easily in hand, and it's also coined the phrase "dos a cero," which means 2-1.
2-0. 2-0. 2-0.
2-0. There's that lack of sleep coming into play.
I was like, it's in the word. Zero does not mean 1.
I was like, wait, zero means 1? I learn something new every day.
Yeah, dos a cero. Yes. Well, that's a phrase.
2-0.
Yes. And that's a phrase that's been around since 1991 as well. Now, the last time the U.S. played Mexico, it was a 2-0 victory down in Texas back in April. We saw Jordan Morris score a goal. He is not on the roster of 23 for this upcoming game. However, we have seen players like Chris Wondolowski, we've seen Clint Dempsey, Josie Altidore, Brad Guzan. They're all up on the field. Looking at this game, what are some of the keys for the USA to win this game, Corey?
I'd have to look at 3 major ones. First of all, the midfield needs to maintain possession of the ball. Mexico likes to do a lot of counterattacks, and that's how they got a draw out of Argentina, which is one of the main powerhouses in the FIFA world. And so the midfield needs to maintain possession and keep the ball going forward rather than turning it over. The second key, the defense needs to be communicating at all times. There's been a lack of communication, which caused a lot of problems, and goals which have been easily scored due to that lack of communication. And then finally, I think the biggest key for the offense is Josie Altidore. He's been having some issues over the last 2 years, and in fact, they've been the hardest 2 years of his life, according to him, on a personal level as well as a professional level. And it's time for him to step up and realize that this is his job and that his job should be on the line if he doesn't perform. And he needs to be that big presence in which USA Soccer fans know he can be, and he needs to be able to score some goals. And so if the offense is going to get going, he needs to be that deep threat.
Now, there's an interesting thing that's going on here on MLSsoccer.com, Corey, in regards to a possible lineup for what the U.S. men's national team might trot out. I do agree with you, though, about the whole Josie Altidore thing. MLSsoccer.com has projected the starting lineup, but the way that the way that they phrased it, because somebody must have been having a little too much fun when they made this lineup. It says, the title of it says, how the U.S. men's national team will, in parentheses, LOL, line up. And then it has a 4-4-2 diamond is what they're going to go with. But the fact that they put LOL in quotes or in parentheses makes the fact that you can tell that even they don't even give a clue about how this team is going to line up. But I'm curious to know what you think of this projected lineup for the U.S. men's national team. They've got Brad Guzan in goal, Fabian Johnson at right back, Jeff Cameron and Matt Beasler at the center backs, DeMarcus Beasley at left back, Kyle Beckerman at defensive mid, Jermaine Jones at right mid, Michael Bradley at center mid, and Gyasi Zardes at left mid, and then they've got Dempsey and Altidore sitting up top as well. And why are they going to line up like this, Grant?
No, I can't do the joke because it's a visual thing. But they underneath that there's a GIF on the MLS Soccer website, and it's a GIF of Jimmy Fallon, and he's just staring off into the camera, and then he just raises one hand, shrugs his shoulders, and then just squinches his face like, I don't know.
So that's pretty much the best way to sum up why they're going to line up that way. Because,
I showed Baxter this, and he's just dying in the corner.
It's so funny,
it's
and it's so
accurate.
true. Like, Jurgen Klinsmann has not ever been consistent with his lineups, and it's just maddening if you were a U.S. soccer fan. Does that lineup sound semi what it should be, or what would you do to tweak that lineup, Corey?
I think the biggest thing that needs to change is Jermaine Jones needs to be that defensive mid. I've seen a more positive performance him at a national team level than out of Kyle Beckerman. Kyle Beckerman just looks a little bit slow.
A little bit?
Well, a little bit slower compared to Jermaine Jones.
I suppose.
And neither one is incredibly fast. But to replace Jermaine Jones, I would put in either Graham Zusi or DeAndre Yedlin. Probably leaning towards DeAndre Yedlin just due to the fact that he has that speed, and that speed takes advantage of a lot of defenses, and they're able to get across in at the end line, which helps out a Josie Altidore or a Clint Dempsey so that they can gain confidence going into that match.
One other thing, Tim Howard is returning to action for the United States. Do you think that he will start, or is it going to be Brad Guzan between the pipes?
I think you need to reference your Jimmy Fallon gif.
I don't know.
It's most likely it's going to be Guzan. I would like to see Tim Howard play, and I think the biggest reason why Klinsmann is having Guzan play is because Tim Howard took that year off from national team play.
Yep.
It's not like he took a complete year off from soccer. He was still playing at his club at Everton, but he just took a year off from national team play, and it just, we saw what happened with Landon Donovan when he took a year off. It's just, he just does not like when players do that, and so I don't see Tim Howard playing, even though he's had a lot of success against Mexico.
And I think that might cause a bit of issue for the U.S. fan base. One other question for you, Corey, before we let you go: if the United States loses this game to Mexico, will we see Jurgen Klinsmann on the chopping block, as he has received a bit of criticism as of late from Landon Donovan and others in the soccer media world? If you were Jurgen Klinsmann, would you be concerned about your job after this game?
If I'm Jurgen Klinsmann, no. If I'm U.S. fan base, I think he should be fired yesterday. If I'm the U.S. the USA.
Sunil Gulati, the president of U.S. Soccer.
Yes, that is the person I'm looking for.
Okay.
If I'm him, I'd say Klinsmann, you're fine. For whatever reason, Klinsmann just seems to have this you can't touch me, you can't fire me contract or clause in his contract, because no matter what ends up happening, there's no talk about him getting released besides a report that came out from ESPN through Landon Donovan recently, in which the reporter asked him the question. So it wasn't like he just came out and said it.
Exactly, and that's the thing with Jurgen Klinsmann, is that you never officially know what his timetable is with the United States. So hopefully there's something that is figured out, but we don't know for sure if this game is going to be the ultimate deciding factor for his coaching tenure.
And on the outside looking in to the soccer world, it kind of seems, because you hear every once in a while about Jurgen Klinsmann and what he's doing, and if you watch some of the games, it's like, well, he's doing this, and this is weird, and like you were saying before, it's like he's not very consistent with his lineup. It's kind of almost like a Chip Kelly kind of deal, right? Like if you're going to compare it to football, kind of like how he's mixing things up, and sometimes it's successful. Well, the Eagles, it hasn't really been all that
sometimes
successful.
It's been a very rare time where it's been successful.
But for Jurgen Klinsmann and the U.S. men's national team, sometimes they're able to pull some success out of it.
That's true. That's very true.
So it's kind of like, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Is it really more that the U.S. is just behind still on the talent pool compared to other European or Russian teams or anything like that? So you never know. Or like any Spanish teams.
Yeah.
They're just really behind on they're very behind.
The U.S.
on the
is
talent.
behind on some of that, unfortunately.
But it's up and coming.
Yes.
It is up and coming.
Yes.
In the last 4 years, the popularity of soccer has just exploded.
It has
so
in America.
It's been
really
very good.
It's great to see that. So, all right, well, Corey, thanks for taking the time this morning. We appreciate it. People can get you on Twitter at cplath10. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Corey Plath, good friend of the show, head of some of our marketing, and also a soccer insider for us as well. Appreciate the time today, bud, and we will speak with you again next week. Good luck in your fantasy football game this weekend.
Thanks. I'm going to need all the help I can get.
All right, man. Well, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, Grant Scott is Rant. You're listening to the Bax and Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I am Bax.
And this is Grant.
All right, Grant. Well, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Bax and Grant Sports Show, which you can follow on Twitter at BG Sports Show, at Baxter Colburn, at Grant's Rant, BGSS.
And speaking of Grant's Rant,
yes, it is time for Grant's Rant here on the Bax and Grant Sports Show. Grant.
Hockey.
You're giving it away already?
I can just say hockey. I've been super excited about hockey for the last couple of days. This is not what I'm writing about, but I just want to talk about it. Because it's not on the docket, so I'll you get your time thinger up. The Minnesota Wild were down, I believe, 3-0 and then 4-1 at one point. Come back, I think, all in the third period. Because I didn't watch the game. I was watching the Blues game, and it was going on at the same time, unfortunately. Grant. Yeah, come on. But I was getting notifications to my phone because the Wild are my second team, and it was like, goal, 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 goal. And then they start coming back, and then they win 5-4.
Boom.
I'm like, they scored goals, like, back-to-back, like, within a couple, like, minutes of each other. I'm like, oh, the Wild are going off. Watch out.
They're
and come
wild.
back and win. So that was nuts. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So good job, Wild almost losing that game. But still.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, well, Grant, with a minute on the clock, you will get to rant about anything you want in the sports world. Are you ready to roll, sir?
I am ready.
On your mark, get set, and go.
So we all know, if you follow hockey, that the Edmonton Oilers drafted the 18-year-old Connor McDavid first overall in the 2015 draft. And there has been speculation that he is sometimes greater or might be the next Wayne Gretzky. You know how they always do that. Or, the next Sidney Crosby.
Wow.
And when I watched the game, I watched an Edmonton stream of the game. So it was actually like if somebody was sitting in their living room in Canada in Edmonton, this is what they would watch. And watched
having pancakes and maple syrup.
Right? Watching the announcers every minute. They said Connor McDavid. Not even just McDavid. They had to say his first name, and if they didn't within every minute, I felt like the entirety of Canada would explode. And then you go to the commercials, and at least every commercial break, there's 2 Connor McDavid commercials, and they're all different. There was not one that repeated. They made like 15 commercials for this guy.
I wonder if they got like
ridiculous
compensation every time they said Connor McDavid.
I don't writers back in the day would get paid per word, so they would write these just Bibles of novels and like useless words.
I wonder how much the commission those guys made off that thing.
Oh, so much. Just gotta look.
Sorry. Nobody's ever thought of that. I mean, come on. Just a side thought.
God paid him off, say here.
Yeah, eternal life and happiness and forgiveness. Well done.
Proud of you. Jeez. All right, but yeah, Connor McDavid, Edmonton Oilers. Watching the game last night, it was definitely an interesting experience because they were all just like, "Oh, Connor McDavid, he's our savior. Oh, he's gonna save."
And they lost, so obviously not.
He's gonna save the franchise. Yeah, and he didn't really do much. Did
he score?
No, he did not score. Thankfully,
you know that there's going to be wall to wall.
I was hoping
ESPN coverage,
right? I know it absolutely. I cry. I would cry. I don't care if you lose, guys. Just don't let Connor McDavid score. Just don't let him score. But we can talk about Connor McDavid's play for a little bit. He went 3 for 11, I believe, from the faceoff dot. So not a great, because he's a center, so he did not perform very well in faceoffs. The first goal came in the first period. Almost said inning. Jeez. Sorry, it's October.
It went 2 for 5 at the plate with a hat trick and an extra point.
And, yeah, interception. So, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scored the first goal. And Baxter, we were watching, and it was like kind of weird because I missed the first period because I was doing stuff. And, yeah, so so we were watching the replay, and the goal was just weird.
It was an awkward goal.
We were like, we're not really sure. It came off the face-off. It was weird. Then anyway, second period, you had Vladimir Tarasenko. There was a high turnover, high in the zone. Comes back, gets a one-on-one with the goaltender. Scores his first goal of the season. It's great play. And then Robbie Fabry in the third period.
It's Fabry, not Fabry. I honestly don't know. I just wanted to mess with you. I don't know what hockey names. I mean, come on. They're just so awkward. Sorry, continue. Robbie Fabbri.
Febreze. Yeah, we'll just
Robbie Febreze. Scored a goal.
Robbie Febreze with a fresh new offensive.
Well played.
Thank you.
Is that tropical? Oh, lovely.
Anyway, he scored. He is Blues' first overall pick. First round pick. I shouldn't say first overall. The Blues' first round pick for the 2015 draft. He gets his first goal of his NHL career. Then Troy Brouwer, who was the main offensive guy that came over from the TJ Oshie trade. If you remember that happening over the summer.
Oh, sure.
The Blues traded away Oshie for Troy Brouwer and a minor league goaltender. So Troy Brouwer got an empty netter. It still counts, though, so he got his first goal as an NHL Blue. Now, as an NHL Blue, a St. Louis Blue. Wow, I cannot talk this morning. Sorry. So, we can talk a little bit about Connor McDavid and his play.
Please.
He only won 3 of his faceoffs, so that was poor. And if you just look at
He's 18. What do you expect him to do? Go out there and start checking these vets? Like, I got the puck. Like, no.
He was actually staying pretty physical, so he did really well with that.
Okay.
Even for a smaller guy and being, your star-studded player, you really don't go and stay physical. But he actually was pretty physical. So he needed to do that to make a statement. It's like, hey, I can play with you guys. I can play in the NHL. So he did really well with that. But if you look around at, I just saw an article 5 minutes ago from an Edmonton guy saying, points don't mean everything. And I'm like, all right.
Spoken from a true team that's not used to winning then.
It's like, here we go. Here are the fan biases. Just like, oh, well, he didn't score a goal, but he's still great. And they're like, he's going to turn the franchise around. I'm like, guys, you're putting too much pressure on this 18-year-old. I mean, come on. Yeah, he did not score a goal. He did get a couple excellent scoring chances. What is wrong in the studio? Everybody's dying. Everybody's dying. All right.
I'm fine. It's not you, I promise.
All right.
Our producer is giving me directions, and I don't understand what's going on. So I'll blame it on Danny.
All right, Danny. You're fired. So
no, wait, we need him. No, don't leave. We need him.
So anyway, you're interrupting hockey, Danny. Get out of here. So Connor McDavid, he did have, even though he didn't score a goal, I do agree that he had a fairly decent game. He was fine, you could say. That he needs to work on the face-off, but his physicality was really good. That did make him not pushed around, because if you're just a star player with just being tossed out there
there's a lot of pressure on him. I mean, it's like Jameis Winston going out week 1 in the NFL and then throwing interceptions.
Yeah, but
it's going to happen. There's so much pressure being the number 1 overall draft pick, and so much hype, so much extra hoopla. Like, hey, you're supposed to be this next really awesome player.
And then 2 quick things before we have to jump to a break. Look at Sidney Crosby and how great of a player he's been. He didn't score until his third game, so you don't have to panic and freak out because he didn't score his first game. And then another quick thing is that St. Louis sold out over 100% their stadium. They sold standing room, so they had 100.9% full stadium last night.
Good
Lord. So great for St. Louis Blues hockey. People are really starting to get on board.
Absolutely. All right, well, we are going to go to a break. When we come back, Sam Wallace is in the studio. He's going to talk to us about his Running 101 tips and take a look at some of the action around the Baxter Grand Sports Show Fantasy Football. You're not going to want to miss it, or whatever the heck you're going to do to catch up what we're about to say, because English and words, and I'm going to go to sign language in the third segment, so listen carefully. We'll be right back. This is the Baxter Grand Sports Show. Welcome back to the Baxing Grant Sports Show, presented by Sports Radio America. I'm back,
and this is Grant.
Grant! Hi, Grant.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Oh, good.
You know what I'm really super excited for?
Why are you excited?
I can finally sit in and listen on a Sam Wallace segment.
Right? Some people can only be so lucky in their lifetime to share a studio segment with Sam Wallace. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Yeah, we just got a new soundboard, so we can finally have more than 2 headphones. And so now I can finally sit in. I'm super excited.
Oh, very excited. Yahoo!
I'll make a runner out of you yet, Grant.
You should.
Actually, you'll appreciate this, and I've been waiting for you to come onto the show to tell you. I don't know if you've seen these bumper stickers or not, but when marathons 26.2.
Is that a question or a statement?
I don't remember what it is. 26 point something.
26.2.
Yeah. Okay, I was right.
Why can't they make it an even number?
26.2 is a marathon, and then you have 13.1 for your half marathon, of course.
You can do math.
And when you run them, you have the bumper sticker, like it has 26.2, and you just plop it on the back of your car. It's like white and with the black. Anyway, you've probably seen it. I saw somebody with a bumper sticker just like that, but it was 0.0.
It was what?
0.0. Yeah.
You gonna get one of those for your car?
Yes, I am.
I'm gonna get one that has like the Iron Man stats and just put that on my car, and everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa, he's super like fit and can run for days," and be like, "No, I just gonna mess with you."
That's why you shouldn't believe bumper stickers.
Start throwing like honor roll student stickers on my car and be like, "My son's in the military," and they're gonna look at me and be like, "Wait a minute," and be like,
or like instead of
"Don't question it, I promise."
My student got an in-school suspension.
Yeah, right.
Or my student flunked out of high school.
I wonder if NFL moms get bumper stickers for when their kids do something bad,
like in Campbell Soup commercials.
Chucky Soup.
My son has brain damage.
Oh, that would not be a good
too
one.
Soon?
No, probably. No. I was gonna go farther, but I don't want to get thrown off the air.
By who?
The FCC.
You are the air.
They're always listening. Anyway, Sam, you've got new Running 101 tips for us this morning. What do you have? I don't know. Do you?
I don't know.
You have one job. Once a week, you have one job to speak about it.
One job.
All right, what do you got, Sam? Hit us.
Well, it's kind of it's a tip for new runners, but I guess again, like all of these that I've brought up, it fits into all runners.
0.0.
0.0
for
Grant.
Life.
Get a plan together. Put it together, especially if this is something you think you want to do. I know for experienced runners like myself and our producer, Danny.
Danny!
Who thankfully hasn't been fired yet.
We love him. He means well.
But having a plan can be so huge. I mean, yeah, it's one thing to be super motivated and self-motivated and say, I'm going to go out for a run and I'm going to go get super fit, which I know Grant's going to do as soon as the show's over.
All I hear in my headphones right now is, I'll make a man out of you. That's all I hear.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
But just having a plan and a program to really buy into and things like that can make it huge. Just getting it written out, getting it down on paper, having some sort of coach or mentor, having a group of friends that will get together. I know last week I touched on getting a running group together and things like that to help other friends, teammates, family members, coaches keep you accountable. That can be huge as far as really getting into shape. And a lot of times there's actually a little bit of a regression in how you're going to feel when you start running.
True. It hurts.
The first 3 or 4 weeks you're actually going to feel worse than you did before you started running.
Yes.
Sounds like something I want to do.
Yeah. Yes.
I figured. Yeah. You look that kind of guy.
I definitely want to feel
You look
pain.
like you want to just put your body through hell and back.
Yeah.
And talk about it like you had
Sounds
a good time.
like a great time.
Yeah.
Why don't more people do this?
I don't know. I was waiting for people to let me run this morning, but it didn't really happen. That's fine. But again, like as far as putting a plan together and things like that, there's a lot of I find them kind of funny and punny. There's the Couch to 5K programs that a lot of people have, things like that. You can do Couch to Marathon, which is, I think, just
that
dumb.
seems deadly.
It's very deadly. Even I don't want to do that.
I'm going to wake up and just go. Just run.
There's just some people out there that just are like, just stuffing just Cheetos and Ding Dongs and whatever else just down.
Careful.
It's
I know.
Is this like a personal anecdote, Grant?
Sure. And there is watching the Food Network, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, I want to go run a marathon."
Well,
so
Bobby Flay's shows are great though. So what do you can't falter Bobby Flay.
More of a Rachel Ray fan myself.
Oh yeah, right up there with you.
She's Italian.
Yeah, us Italians got to stick together. I'm telling you what.
Yeah, but no, that's again I think something that's huge for all runners across the board, especially for early runners. Just have some sort of plan together. It's very hard to be self-motivated by yourself. Is that too redundant? I mean, I'm sure Danny and I can both attest to that.
I think just self-motivated, period.
It's very difficult to be self-motivated.
By yourself. Compared to self-motivated through others.
Hey, living vicariously through others is not a
Hey, I do that all the time.
That's why Sam runs so much, because I contact Sam every morning. I'm like, all right, Sam, I'm feeling a 5-mile run today, so go ahead and take care of that for me. Thanks.
So I just tack on 5 miles to the end of my run. So
and then I wake up feeling refreshed and like, wow, feeling good. Got a run in today. I'm
Yeah.
doing good. Yeah.
So Grant, let me know tomorrow. Actually, Sunday.
I'm feeling 26.
That's fair. For you, Grant, for you,
Just gonna haul it out.
I'd do it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to feel awful tomorrow then. I'm just going to be, ran
if you
26
wake
miles
up-
today. Ugh.
I would actually
Feel a little
laugh.
sore.
You'd wake up and just be like, oh my gosh.
Ran
like I
26
got hit by a
26
bus.
miles. Yeah, right. Kind of like a voodoo doll. Just like, run. And that's a little weird.
I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen.
Let's talk about fantasy football.
Yes,
All right,
please.
moving on.
Sam, the upcoming week in fantasy football after the Thursday night games. We've already got a few pretty close games. You are taking on El Grant. Bum, 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 bum.
That's right.
Sam, you're up to an 11-0 lead after one game. All 11 points coming from the old man, Adam Vinatieri.
Adam Vinatieri.
Kicking field goals
Did
with
you know that
his
in the
cane.
game last night, all the Colts players that scored were at least like 34 years old?
Yep.
How does that make
Absolutely
the Texans
crazy.
defense feel?
I think it was over 30.
32, 34,
Yeah,
something like that.
it was something like that.
Matty Hasselback
Because
doing work last
Hasselback,
night.
Vinatieri, Andre Johnson.
Hasselback and Vinatieri are 85 combined.
Yeah.
In their age.
Colts are the
That's
oldest team in the
ridiculous.
NFL this year.
And they're a Super Bowl contender. Who makes these predictions?
You're
Matt Hasselbeck.
honestly saying that the Colts
No, I'm just
are-
saying preseason, everyone was like, Colts for the Super Bowl.
Got you. I see.
I was not
I mean,
on
there's a
such
reason
bandwagon.
Grant drafted Andrew Luck in the first round. Awkward.
All right, anyway, so looking at this lineup, it is the Cuban Raft Riders against the Hartford Whalers. So while one is trying to paddle across the Gulf, the other one is trying to spear the other one.
I'm trying to figure out who's still to start for wide receivers because it's still.
Well, let's see. With your opponent on here, maybe we can all talk about it together and really give you some constructive.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think you don't need a
Just
receiver
release
this week.
everybody.
Yeah. You don't need the Jets defense. Let them go. They're dead weight.
Well,
Rob Gronkowski, overrated.
No, he's only the first-rated tight end. Don't need him.
No.
Let's see. I have Emmanuel Sanders for one wide receiver. He's
Sure.
pretty much locked. And then I have Michael Crabtree, who is listed as questionable, and they play Denver.
Questionable to go off.
Oh! And then on my bench, I have Golden Tate,
No.
who they play Arizona.
No, just stop with
No.
don't ever
And
say
then
that name
Dorial
again.
Green Beckham.
Who? Odell? Beckham?
Dorial
quite as cool.
Dorial Green
Doesn't
Beckham.
have the hair for it.
He rookie. He is.
He plays
I think-
Buffalo
Has he
this
made a
week.
one-handed catch yet in the end zone?
Nope.
Don't care.
Is he on the Madden cover? Then no, we don't
No.
care. We don't care.
Yeah, and he plays Buffalo, but he only gets a couple catches per game. But he is a red zone threat.
True.
He
Yeah,
has
you gotta play to
cut
that
some
strength.
touchdowns. So it's been the question.
I think
Oh,
you're-
and I also have Doug Baldwin on my flex.
You're
squad.
welcome. I dropped him a long time ago.
Yeah, he won me
A
the
long
game
time ago.
actually
We're in
last
week
week.
5, man.
That was. So
I
too-
remember
in,
when I was a boy when I dropped Doug Baldwin.
in fantasy football, a week is like a year.
That's so true.
honestly.
So true. I guess if I have anything to say about mine and Grant's game,
Is the fact that you left Andre Johnson on your bench with 19 points?
can you blame me?
No, not at
In
all.
the
I wouldn't have
last
started
in the
him.
last 2
He's got,
weeks,
like, a
he has
couple catches.
failed to
Straight
record a single
garbage.
catch.
Well, then I would have started
Yeah,
him.
he
Zero
got like
catches.
3 in the first 4 weeks or something.
Zero
like that.
catches in back-to-back weeks, and he decides to put up 6 catches for 77 yards and 2 red zone touchdowns last night.
Yeah,
Well, see, the way that
yeah,
the-
that's how it goes.
Well, the way
That's how it
the way
goes.
the NFL works is just when a player's not doing well, assume that they're going to do well, and then start them, and then they'll do well, and then you'll be a genius.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still slotted to beat Grant by a hefty margin. So
Ah,
I
well,
really
you're
don't
fine.
think.
You're fine.
I'm gonna come out and just absolutely take it to you, and then you're gonna.
I love that we're playing
suffer
some
and
players
cry.
on the same team. We're playing Denver's 1 and 2 wide receiver, and we're both playing
Ooh.
Cleveland's 1 and 2 running back.
So neither of you are going to get points from the Cleveland running backs, then, is what you're telling me.
I never get much from Cromwell anyway.
Now, I'm curious, Sam. I never heard if you actually accepted it or not.
I haven't, but I guess I can bring it up on the air.
Please, because I want to know what the listeners feel like would be a good idea. Plus, I'd like to just hash it out a wee bit as well.
Yeah, so I got a couple minutes to do this.
Please.
Here. So yesterday morning at 7:52 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm sitting, getting ready to take an exam at 8 o'clock, and all of a sudden, in my backpack, I hear dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. And about half of the class goes like this. They're like, whoa, was that my phone? Is something going on? I'm like, I don't know. Let's pull up my iPad. I'm like, oh, the Fort Wayne Vandals
David
Kenyon, the Encyclopedia of Football, has proposed a trade to me. And immediately, I don't know if it's well-founded or not, became super suspicious. I'm like, what is he doing?
What is his angle?
What agenda is he trying to have here? But this is the trade that he offered. In exchange for my starting tight end, Greg Olsen, and a load of garbage off my bench in Jameis Winston, he would give me another quarterback in Phillip Rivers and red-hot running back Devonta Freeman.
What the heck?
On paper, I'm inclined to say yes, because it's Devonta Freeman.
Yes.
And my running back number 2 in Lamar Miller has been garbage at best. And Phillip is another not bad option. And obviously I'm not going to miss Jameis Winston. However, to give up Greg Olsen would mean, in my opinion, giving up a top 5 tight end in the league. And looking at David Kenyon's football team, he's got Eric Ebron. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Ebron.
Eric Ebron from Detroit, who, quite frankly, in my opinion, he's a very touchdown-dependent quarterback week to week. He's not very likely to get a lot of yardage, get a lot of passes.
Yeah, and Greg Olsen is listed as number 5 through total points in ESPN Fantasy.
Yeah, okay, so I figured he's about a top 5.
In tight ends.
Top 5 tight end, things like that. So, I do have a backup tight end in Delaney Walker. Delaney Walker's already through his bye, so I don't have to worry about missing a game that way. But it's Delaney Walker. Grant, do you have that info on where Delaney Walker falls?
Delaney Walker is 19th out of all tight ends.
That's the thing.
16 total points so far this year. They play Buffalo next week, and I mean, you have Marcus Mariota. It's Mariota. Marcus Mariota,
the new Subway guy.
And then also you have right above him, you have the other Titans tight end, Anthony Fasano.
Yeah.
And so they're 1 and 2. So they get the touches spread out pretty evenly.
Now, Sam, I have such a question about this that I had to bring in the man himself that has proposed said trade. So
Perfect.
David Kenyon is on the line with us right now. So good morning, David. How are you? Oh, he was on the line. David? Is he muted? What happened? No! Why does this have to happen?
We lost him.
David,
come back. You can blame it all on me. I can't make up more words.
I don't know what happened.
So
anyway, we lost him for a moment.
So going back to your tight end situation.
I need David now.
David, how about now?
How about now?
There it is. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, so
nobody breathe.
You texted me because apparently you seem to have a thought or a point. So I don't know if you want to hash it out with Sam quick on the air for 2 minutes. So the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna listen in and see if I could answer any of Sam's questions.
Well, this is Sam. Do you have any questions for the encyclopedia?
David, how badly do you want a top 5 tight end on your football team?
How badly do you want the number 1 running back in the league?
Ooh. Shots fired.
For 2 games, I agree. But can he maintain his red-hot pace once Tevin Coleman comes back?
Tevin Coleman?
Tevin Coleman, sorry.
Same thing. They both ended man.
Sorry, I was just making sure.
No, yeah. Sorry, once Coleman comes back, how long do you think Freeman is going to be able to keep up that red-hot pace that he's currently on right now?
Well, I'd say he's a better option than Lamar Miller.
True.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. The thing is, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting. Delaney Walker has been absorbing about 30% of Marcus Mariota's targets so far this year. So it's interesting. I think, what's my deadline? October 11th at 7:52 a.m. So
say wait him out.
Let
him sit there. Let him freeze a little bit. Make him a little worried, shaking his boots.
Yeah. No, I mean, looking at your team, David. I know you're stacked with running backs. You got a very, very quality wide receiver. quarterback in Tom Brady, who's already through.
He's all right. When he plays him, he's all right.
Who's already through his bye week, which is awesome.
A smart move there, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, your team, in all honesty, would be very, very well rounded then, adding a top 5 tight end. So I can definitely see your interest in wanting to give up one of your running backs for a quality tight end. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You would be correct.
All right. As long as I'm just reading into this correct. But
of course.
It's interesting. You need a tight end, and you know that I don't like Lamar Miller, as I've already reached out to you several times and said, David, what do I do with Lamar Miller?
It's trying to make a play.
Yeah.
Ooh, David Kenyon's a cheeky guy. You got to keep an eye on him. All right, well, we have to go to a break, unfortunately. But, David, thanks for popping by for a quick second. Sam, always a pleasure as well. Good luck to both of you in your upcoming weeks in fantasy. And
appreciate it.
As the league manager, I will be waiting for the official paperwork to come across my desk so I can sign it with my wonderful big multiple pens.
Not going to veto it? Send it back?
It depends on what happens. But Jameis Winston, I don't even know what to do with him. I might just void him from the trade altogether and just push Delaney.
You're cut from the league.
Honestly.
You're gone.
Who drafted him?
Somebody did. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks again, David and Sam. We appreciate both of your time, and we'll speak with both of you next week.
Sounds good.
This is Grant, and while Baxter is fixing some technology issues, we're going to talk quick about the MLB playoffs right now. We just came off of a 2-game, we just had 2 games last night in the American League Division. We had the Houston Texans taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, and we will start first with that game. The Houston Texans taking that, so they now lead the series 1-0. And that's very pivotal because that is they start out in a 5-game series first. This is what the division series start out with 5, and then they go to 7 after this. So the Rangers take one against the Blue Jays away in Toronto. So winning those games are very pivotal because when you go home, you have a lot more momentum, especially in Texas. The Rangers have a very good fan base. I would say probably better than the Blue Jays, but I'm not going to split hairs between fan bases. But the Rangers, very good home field presence, so they come out with a win. Only 5 hits, but scoring 5 runs with those 5 hits, so maximizing their potential with their hits. So that is very good. Yovani Gallardo gets the first playoff win for the season. And for anybody in the Milwaukee area, you know Yovani Gallardo. He was a big Brewers pitcher for a while. So once again, another case of a Brewers player doing well other places, even though you could argue that he was doing fairly well in Milwaukee. But still, another case of a Milwaukee Brewer player doing well elsewhere. So then moving over to the other game, we have the wild card winner, Astros, still coming off of their win and using the momentum to Kansas City, taking on the Royals and beating them 5-2 once again, an away team. So both away teams winning. Astros going to Kansas City and winning 5-2. And that is great for their momentum. Just coming off of that win, beating the Yankees, like we said, in New York, going into Kansas City, winning 5-2. And so the Houston Astros got 11 hits compared to the Kansas City's 6. And sorry for the technical issues. We apologize about that. So going on, continuing, like I said, 5-game series. Houston is up now 1-0 in the conference, in the playoffs. We have McHugh getting the win for the Astros, Ventura getting the loss, and Luke Gregerson, you've probably heard of him. He got his first save of the playoffs. Now, while we're still waiting, I'm going to move over to hockey and talk a little bit about some hockey that's been going on. So, of course, we've talked about the St. Louis Blues getting their win. Also, we talked about a little bit about the Colorado Rockies, but we can go into the Ottawa Senators against the Buffalo Sabres. I talked a little bit about Jack Eichel scoring his first goal as a Buffalo Sabre. Absolutely fantastic, beautiful goal. Got the puck, no competition for the puck. Through a little hesitation on the goaltender, made him move over, open up enough space to put it over his shoulder, up under the bar, just snuck it under the bar. It was a really accurate shot. Really good to see from somebody so young. But Ottawa Senators, coming off of their playoff year, Ottawa has been kind of on the lower end in the last couple of years, and they came off playoffs and look like they're picking up right where they left off, looked very in control. Moving on, Winnipeg taking on the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins struggled last year, missing the playoffs, a big disappointment for their season, and looks like they're leaving right where they left off, unfortunately. Winnipeg Jets, however, we all know how great their fan base is. Last year, when they went to the playoffs, yes, they lost to the first round against the Minnesota Wild, but their fan base, absolutely supportive. Even though they got swept, they were still very, very proud of their hockey team. They're really glad that they're back in Winnipeg. So it's really good to see them come off of a 6-2 win. So great for them. Moving over to the next game, you have the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Lightning taking this game in overtime, 3-2. Tampa Bay, as we know, made a very deep push into the playoffs last year. So great to see them still continuing with their dominance. Going on to the next game, you have the Nashville Predators at home taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Nashville taking this game 2-1 at home. They had a very good season last year. However, they did collapse halfway through the season. They were doing really well, and I remember as a Blues fan, it was like, oh, great, here we go. I have to catch Nashville, and that's how it was going for the first half of the season, and then Nashville kind of just took a nosedive. So they're looking to stray away from that. Moving over to the last game that we had last night for the NHL, we had the Dallas Stars at home taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Dallas Stars take that game 3-0. Now, we will switch sports one more time. We did not talk about this very much in detail, so I'm going to move over and talk about the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Houston Texans in Houston. People were like, oh, great, this is kind of a garbage bowl kind of game. The Indianapolis Colts were coming in 2-2. Houston was coming in 1-3. Now, the important thing for Indianapolis, now that's their third division win. They are now 3-2. They have a huge commanding lead over the division, and Houston has kind of just shot themselves in the foot right now. And I said it at the beginning of the show that I was right. And I was right because I said that the Houston Texans should have started Brian Hoyer for the entire season. But what happens? Ryan Mallett comes out, 7 for 10, 50 yards, throws an interception. He throws the interception. The Texans are like, all right, okay, we're done. Hoyer, go. So Hoyer goes in, 24 for 31, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, no sacks, quarterback rating of 116.6. And we'll talk about the interception, the very pivotal game interception, but first we'll talk about the good things, and we'll talk about the one bad. So, Brian Hoyer, 312 yards. Interesting fact, we'll word it this way. First quarterback since 2012 to be a bench player and come and throw for over 300 yards. So that absolutely fantastic playing to see from a player like Brian Hoyer. We all know what happened over at Cleveland. He did well, had a couple bad games, and they're like, okay, we're just looking for an excuse to play Johnny Manziel. We thought you were going to get hurt sooner, so let's just throw you in now. So they threw him in. Hoyer was treated poorly, in my opinion. So goes over to the Houston Texans, and finally it looks like he'll get a start. Hopefully next game. Wow, talking today is rough. So we have the one interception that we have to talk about. It was at the end of the game, very pivotal. It was 3rd down and 2, and I didn't agree with his decision, but it wasn't 100% his fault. So he had time in the pocket. Coverage was absolutely great. Then all of a sudden he had a defender bearing down on him. He just lobbed a prayer over the middle. Then the receiver went off of the path that he was running, so it was just the defender sitting under there because the receiver wasn't watching the ball 100%, and so that's why it wasn't his fault completely. So, but what I would have done if I were Hoyer was throw it away, go for it on 4th down. You're in 4th down territory. There was about 2.5 minutes left of the game, or 2 minutes left in the game, so you would have had enough time to talk over your play and be like, okay, we have one play, we need to make it work. That first one didn't work because you still had one more down to work with. So we're going to go to a quick break. We apologize for the technical issues, but just sit back, relax, take a little drink, go do whatever you do. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Bax and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. I'm Bax.
And this is Grant.
Quick reminder for you, you can get us right here on Spreaker.com and on Periscope from 7 to 8 a.m. Central. You can also get us on Sports Radio America from 11 to 1 p.m. Central as well. And on demand anytime you want on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and on Spreaker.com as well. Social media, you can tweet at Grant, at Grant's Rant BGSS, at Baxter Colburn. Tweet at the show, at BG Sports Show. We love hearing from you guys. We've had some great interaction with fans on Periscope today, and as we always do every week. So before we go today, we are going to talk briefly about the Green Bay Packers St. Louis Rams game. Yes, Grant?
And I just want to make one thing. It was the Texas Rangers played the Toronto Blue Jays, not the whatever. I said the
or
Houston
whatever,
Texans.
or whoever the Houston Astros played last night is what you said. I'm sorry, yes.
Oh, Houston Astros. It was the Houston Astros. There's too many Texas teams going on right now, guys. I apologize.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. All right, well, before we take off, we will offer our Week 5 NFL predictions. But before we do that, we're going to briefly talk about the Green Bay Packers St. Louis Rams game. Because of our technical issues, our show has been horrifically thrown off rail, but we're going to do our best to bring it back on the tracks and finish strong here. So, going into this game, Grant, the Rams 2-2, Green Bay Packers 4-0. The Packers playing at home. Aaron Rodgers, as we know, has been absolutely stellar at Lambeau Field.
Lights out.
Lights out. Crazy darn good. And he goes up against a Rams defense that is, the best word that I can call them is cheeky. Because
you've been liking that word.
I like cheeky. Like they're just a cheeky team.
They are. We've been calling them the giant killers, and then at the same time, it's just they're a weird team, and we've been talking about it. The St. Louis Rams are not a bad team.
Not at all.
But they're not a Super Bowl contending team, one would argue. Some might argue that. They're 2-2 right now. The teams that they beat are the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. But one of the teams that they lost to were the Washington Redskins.
How do you lose to the Redskins?
And then beat Seattle, which, yes, they're a weaker team as of late. They're not having the best season, but then you look over at the Arizona Cardinals, who are having a great season right now. They're 3-1, minus that one loss to the Rams. So it's like, what are these Rams? Like, who are they? And
the real St. Louis Rams, please stand up.
Right, and then now you have, that they might move to L.A. You have all that stuff going on. They might merge with the Chargers and might do like a Jets-Giants thing, or they're both in L.A. So there's been a lot of that talk going around. So a lot of talk going around St. Louis. But, think about the last couple of seasons. Rams going up against Seattle. Seattle's always had a struggle against the Rams. And against good teams. Last year, the Rams almost beat the Patriots last year. They made it really close. But then they just struggle up against other teams that you'd think they'd be fine against. So I really don't know where to put the blame for that. Yeah. But then you have the Green Bay Packers coming off not a blowout week, and people are saying
17-3 is not a blowout, but it was a good performance.
They're like, oh my gosh, they didn't beat them by 100 points. They're not going to the Super Bowl. I'm like, 17-3, they got the W, they got the win, they knew how to handle the team. That's what you need to do in football. You know the team that you're going up against, and you handle them. That's what the Packers did, even though it wasn't the style that everybody thought they were going to do. Yeah, they had some offensive miscues. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. So, Green Bay, I'm going to personally pick Green Bay in this game, but I would not be surprised if this is one of the games that Green Bay drops, because we've talked that they might do that.
We have, yes, and I just want to make a quick mention of this, that this is a rivalry that has gone back to 1937.
Wow.
It started with the Cleveland Rams. Who knew Cleveland had a Rams team? Then it went to the LA Rams, and then eventually the St. Louis Rams. However, St. Louis has had the better of the time against the Packers. St. Louis leads the series overall with a record of 46-45-2. Not like it makes a huge difference. It's one game, so if Green Bay wins, they'll level the series. Last time these two teams met was 3 years ago. I didn't realize it's been that long since the Packers had played the Rams. Packers came away with a 30-20 victory.
And an interesting thing, too, the last 4 games the Packers have taken them. So
pretty handily also.
Yeah, so they were different teams then, of course, compared to now, but still getting the win over them the last 4 times, and people, I wouldn't be surprised, favor the Packers in this game. But like we said, this is going to be a good game. This is the featured game for the 12 o'clock games. You know, they always have that one big one.
America's Game of the Week.
So, yeah, this is the one feature game. And then we can go and, speaking of the other games, we can go and jump into those right now, going into our predictions. First game, I have Chicago at Kansas City. Baxter, what do you think about that game?
Chicago, Kansas City. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. Kansas City has just got the better team, and I don't think the Bears can hold on.
I definitely agree with you on that one. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Cincinnati Bengals. And for me personally, this is going to be a really good game. I will pick Cincy on this one. Our producer, Danny, was holding up a C, going with Cincinnati. So
I'm going to jump on that train too, boys.
All right.
Got to do it.
Yeah, Cincinnati just a struggling Seattle offense. If the offense, however, goes off for Seattle, this game can look completely different. If the defense is on and then the offense suddenly wakes up, they're going to give Cincinnati issues.
All right, I agree with you on that one.
Moving over to the next game, we have the Washington Redskins at Atlanta. So another one of those easy wins for Atlanta, it seems like, at home against the struggling Redskins.
Should be,
team.
yes.
But you never know. We just saw the Cardinals going into St. Louis should be easier win and then come out with a loss. So you never know. But Baxter, what are you taking out of that game?
Atlanta at home has looked good. I'm a little questionable at Matt Ryan's passing ability. He's only thrown 6 touchdowns in 4 weeks, and I'm more curious to see what Devonta Freeman can do. He has been a rushing touchdown sensation recently, so we'll see if he can keep his back-to-back hot streak alive.
I'm not too concerned about touchdown passes, and if you've listened to the show, you know me with touchdown passes. That can be very subjective. So I'm not too concerned with that. So, yeah, those stats can be subjective. I'm not a huge touchdown stat fan. But then
you've got 2 of the most elite receivers in the NFL on your team, though. Why would you not care about touchdown stats?
It's yards. To me, it's yards. Because, and especially like you said, you have a running back who's been a touchdown fiend. That's where you get your touchdowns. You get your yards through your receivers, and you get your ground and pound touchdowns to your running back. Just because their playing style does not line up with his stats does not mean he's a bad quarterback. Moving on to the next game, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars at Tampa Bay, another garbage bowl. Baxter, what do you take out of this game?
Got the Jags, Blake Bortles, get it done, son.
Yeah, I think out of the two teams, the Jacksonville Jaguars have made some improvements. Then you have Jameis Winston over on the other side of the ball, but he's an interception hog. So
thank you for choosing the word hog.
Yeah, it was like I don't know.
Thank you for that.
I don't know what other word to use there. I was like interception fiend, interception. I don't know.
Bandit, vandal, scallywag.
Anyway,
swashbuckling.
Moving over to the next game, you have the New Orleans Saints at Philadelphia. This is a battle of the 1-3, is a battle of a team that really, both teams that need a win. More for the New Orleans Saints because of who they have in their division. You have the Carolina Panthers at 4-0. You also have the Atlanta Falcons at 4-0. Then you have the Philadelphia Eagles. That whole division is just trash. So
hot mess.
It is a big hot mess. So if they got a win, they would still be, I think they would lead the division if they got a win, or they would be at least in second place. So it's really bad. So the New Orleans Saints need this win more than others. Baxter, who do you have winning this game?
I would rather take neither. I'd rather take a draw like I could in soccer, but I'm not going to take a draw. I'm going to go with the Eagles winning this game.
Yeah,
I don't like either pick, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of like you get the worst of both worlds instead of the best. Next, you have
of neither world.
You got the Cleveland Browns at Baltimore taking on the Ravens. Now, this is a more interesting pick than people would think in following football the last couple of years, because Baltimore has struggled.
They have.
Has struggled this year. And the Cleveland Browns, the last couple of seasons have been, you're not horrible, but you're okay. So, personally, I think I'm going to pick Cleveland.
Yep, actually, this is my upset pick for the week as well. I've got the Browns winning this game. I thought I was going to be outlandish with that pick, but you proved me wrong.
No, I agree with you. So we talked about St. Louis, Green Bay. Next, we have Buffalo at Tennessee.
Go Green Bay.
Buffalo at Tennessee. I'm picking Buffalo to take on Mariota and handle him pretty nicely. What do you say, Baxter?
I think that Mariota is going to corral the Bills this week.
Really?
I've got Mariota, whoever he is. Marcus, my boy Marcus. I think he's going to do some serious work this week.
All right. Well, I'm not doubting that he will do work, but the rest of his team. Yeah, that's the big question.
That's true.
I think Mariota is the best rookie quarterback basically saying he's better than Jameis Winston. Well, that's basically what you're saying. Or Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod's not a rookie.
He's not a rookie?
No, sir. He's been around for a while.
Oh, really? I thought he was younger.
No,
I swear I thought he was younger.
Don't swear, Grant. That's not nice.
Okay, I guess not. Well, thought he was younger.
Happens.
Maybe it's just because he's just starting. And
Probably.
Okay. Anyway, Arizona Cardinals at Detroit. I'm taking Arizona in this game. It's going to be way too hard for Detroit, especially they're just coming off of Batgate.
Oh, no. Bump.
I just picture like a bat just like hanging upside down.
Holding a football.
Right, and like chuckling.
With a black visor on for Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. And I like that addition.
Thank you.
But Detroit coming off of a tough loss. They're 0-4 right now. Offense can't get anything off the ground. Defense isn't horrible, but still not the best. They've just had injuries, a lot of holes with trades and everything. So we've talked about the Detroit Lions a couple shows ago, it was 2 shows ago, right?
It was 2 shows ago. Chris Gibbons joined us.
Yeah, so you can go back to Wednesday's show, listen to this if you're a Lions fan, want to listen more about that.
Huh.
But I'm picking Arizona.
Don't listen to anything about their team.
All right. Okay. I'm trying to promote our show back.
Sorry.
So I'm taking Arizona in that game. Next, we have New England Patriots at Dallas. I am taking New England in that game. Baxter, do you think Dallas has a chance?
Not a chance in the world. T. Brady, wearing Giselle Marion. Awesome man, Deflategate defying Brady is going to win that game.
All right, that was an interesting choice of words.
You're
then
welcome.
We have the Denver Broncos at
Peyton.
Oakland. You're taking Peyton in this
and
one?
the Broncos. Let's do it.
You don't think Oakland can pull off the upset?
No, not a chance. I feel like it's like the NFL shows when they're doing the highlights. I was like Terry Bradshaw. I was like Peyton Manning as he gets ready to Peyton Manning and the Broncos taking on the Raiders. He always shouts
the Raiders.
He always shouts the name Derek Carr and the Raiders. Peyton Manning. I'm like, okay, you don't need to yell, Terry. Maybe you're not. Just stop, Terry. Stop.
One less coffee for you.
Right.
All right. I will agree with you on Denver on that one, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's an Oakland upset. Then the Sunday night football game, Sunday night football, San Francisco 49ers at New York taking on the Giants. What do you think about this game?
I got the Giants.
I am right there with you.
Odell.
I just think San Francisco is just too weak this year. We have then the Monday night football game, the Pittsburgh Steelers at San Diego.
Le'Veon Bell.
A little bit closer than people might think.
That's true.
What do you think?
I think this game will be close, but ultimately I believe San Diego will sneak away with a 24-17 victory.
I am taking Pittsburgh in this game, personally.
Really?
Yeah. I think Big Ben's just too good. Big Ben is just too good.
He's too good. That's why he's on the bench.
Well, I was going to say, but yes, he has the injury. But, I was just like, as I was saying it, I'm like, he does have that.
I was like, he's so good they benched him.
Yeah, I was like, as I'm saying it, I'm just like, wait.
Those are the words that come out of your mouth. They're like, come back.
Yeah, I was like, just about to say, I'm like, oh, he's injured. But no, because I was like, Michael Vick. That's the thing over there. But Michael Vick, he did really good of his first start last week, Thursday night football.
He did.
I believe it was.
He did.
And then they had that long week, and so that gives him time to be comfortable.
Get after it, Michael.
Yes, not Big Ben. I apologize for that. Like, as soon as I was saying it, I'm like, no, he's injured. But you have Michael Vick still as quarterback. He knows how to start. He knows how to play. So I'm taking Pittsburgh in that game. You have Le'Veon Bell back, and then you have Antonio Brown.
Yes, indeed.
And I was like,
Heath Miller might get
receiver.
some action too. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
And then you have Miami Dolphins, Minnesota Vikings, the New York Jets, and the Carolina Panthers all on a bye this week. So make sure you check your fantasy teams, take all of those players off, get some replacements, otherwise you'll weep heavily with 0 points.
Kind of like I was weeping at our phone cord today. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Baxter and Grant Sports Show presented by Sports Radio America. Thanks to Corey Plath, Sam Wallace, and briefly David Kenyon for stopping by the show today. Our producer has been Danny Hoffenstein. He is Grant Coppersmith. I'm Baxter Colburn. Enjoy your NFL-packed weekend. And if you're a U.S. soccer fan, go USA tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Check it out. You're not going to want to miss it. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll see you all again on Monday.